Hell yeah, and welcome to episode 78. It's been a while.
78.
Of the Temple Bar podcast with me, Jim Win, and Philip Noone. Philip, falling slowly.
Falling slowly, Jim. We will start by just giving a... I was going to say giving a shout out, but giving a moment to Glenn Hansard.
Yeah.
Big
news in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, like class.
It was another... Along the lines of the kind of few kind of Irish legends that we've lost in the last few years, but also we talked about him on the podcast as like being, to me, like he was more of a, he's not like a musician that I'd listen to all his music, but he was more like there's a thing that goes underneath trees that grows in the mushrooms. It's like the thing that connects them all together. And he was like a musician that connected all the musicians at every level in Irish music together.
That's actually really good, because if you think about it, like, fuck, that's a great analogy, because at his funeral, like George Murphy that was on the podcast, George did a song, and so did Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
You know, like, so we had George Murphy, like an Irish singer, kind of like George has sang from the pubs up, in terms of Irish music, and then Eddie Vedder does stadiums for like hundreds of thousands of people, and Glenn,
and Bono. Then you've Bono,
and Bono,
and you've got young lads who would open up for him as well.
And he young lads there. He that young fella, that young Andrew lad that he gave the guitar to and everything. Like, so Glenn had like all levels of music in his life, and he'd stand on stage with anybody.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He was one of those.
That's cool.
He was like a archetypal kind of Irish session-y music player. He was like, obviously anyone of our age, remember the Commitments was like a huge,
outspan Foster.
Yeah, I know before that there was the Bull McCabe.
And fucking and.
and fucking and. I know before that there was the Field, like, but as far as Irish movies made in Ireland about Ireland go, the Commitments was there.
The Commitments up until...
Do you know what I'd say?
Up until My Left Foot.
Up until My Left Foot. But I would say, in the Commitments, Brother Rabbit, he sits there and his whole inner dialogue is him kind of interviewing some...
Yeah.
I think my life has been like that ever since. My whole inner dialogue when I'm...
It's Terry Wogan.
I know, it's Terry Wogan. But to mine, it's not like it doesn't have a name, but it's always me answering some question that nobody asked. That I'm always, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing the answer and the question. I'm always having an interview in my head. Well, Terry.
And when did you think you were going to buy bread, Jim?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Terry.
And I wonder if I did that before the Commitments. I don't know if I did. I don't know what came first. But I think that was... So
is your inner dialogue like that where it's questionable? Mine is very scattered, like it's the ADHD. So like when I'm out, I'm just like, I can, of course there's a voice in there narrating things, but it's like, it's always just fucking bouncing.
Yeah.
So is yours like more questionable, or how does that?
It's always bouncing, but it's always, whenever I'm on a topic, I always imagine two perspectives on it. Someone asking about it and someone telling it. Like, to me, the voice thinks it's me, like,
right,
who's answering with my opinions and all. But it's kind of like, it's part of and it's also part of the ego, like, obviously. So you're kind of ranking things, like you say, or you're judging things as good or bad, or you're trying to give your perspective in the most. Usually it's to make yourself look the best way, like in this imaginary interaction. You're trying to make yourself look the best as having this, I don't know, enlightened opinion. That's in the last few years, it's been more about spiritual stuff. I have this back and forth, but that's still the ego. Like, it's not, because the subject matter doesn't matter. It's the fact that the judging and the, trying to explain it, it's all concepts. So trying to explain it is impossible for.
Well, I've started listening to an audiobook. It's on the death of the ego.
Right.
And it's a guy called something Holiday. It's very good.
Right.
I was listening to it the other day, and Carl Jung said the most dangerous person is the person who can understand darkness in humans but can't recognize their own darkness. So what they do is they're able to he said that'll manifest in finding fault in everything and everyone that you can't see in yourself.
Yeah, that's mirrors, baby.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you're looking at someone and you're like, well, that's fucking annoying me now, but that's annoying you because that's in you.
Yeah,
and
it's once you become conscious of that, it starts getting very. As you attach to those things, it's like you feel like once you had the spiritual awakening, like, oh, now I'm on the way up, but it actually it gets a lot worse because you're starting.
Because now you know.
Now you know. Now you know, and you're like, oh, why is it? You're just like, oh, boom. And they call this thing monkey mind, as the ego now is starting to break apart or whatever. Like whatever way you want it. It's a metaphor, but just monkey mind is just bouncing all over the place, and you're just like concepts, and I'm like, yeah, but who's saying that? And I'm asking myself, who's actually saying that? And like, it's a million. It's like it's a bit schizophrenic, like, but I'm not. The lucky thing is I don't attach to it. I know it's not me. I know it's just bouncing around. I'm observing it, but I get better at it, at not attaching to it. But then something will come along that'll make me attach to it, and I'll go through a dark pit, and then I'll come back up, and it'll be bouncing around again.
It's funny you should say that, because I was looking at this guy, and he was like a CEO, and now he's like lives underwater and fucking. And he was saying that when he looked back, all along he was thinking to himself, I'm this high performing man. I'm like this high performance man who's able to perform at the top level and everything. And he said, when I didn't realize I was just an ego driven human in fight or flight.
Yeah. I'm so interested. And like I said to you, with this tension stuff that I've had for all my life, but really it's been since that collapse I had in Cyprus, has been really undoing it. And the fight or flight, and I see now my whole feed is full of fascia release and like people talking about how like things that it wasn't available to people back in the day. I don't think people like a lot of people have this, are holding this in their body, like you said, the body keeps the score, like the book. But we hold this tension in our body, and we don't even know we have it until we realize we do. And once we do, we can't believe that I can't believe I let it get so bad, but I did. It took a collapse for it to happen. So it's like there's always this fight or flight. Fight or flight is like it's just a word for the attachment or the pushing away. But yeah, we like to label ourselves as well. Like, one of my favorite podcasts is the High Performance Podcast and all that, or Diary of a CEO or whatever. Like, it's
Stephen Bartlett's very good.
Very good. I like interesting podcasts.
But what you were saying there, just really quickly about tension as well, right? I know that in you, it kind of manifested as tension in your body, but in some people, it manifests as mental illness or bad energy, or sometimes in people, it just manifests as resentment.
Yeah.
And they don't know why. And they carry a lot of sadness, and they carry a lot of anger and a lot of hate, and they don't know why. And like, what that is the build-up of all of these situations in your life that you didn't have the tools to deal with in the moment.
Yeah.
And they just became something inside you.
Yeah. So you can look at it from the spiritual perspective,
I used to just reach for a pint of Guinness.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do.
As soon as I felt it, I'd be like, give me that fucking pint of Guinness.
Give
me that pint of Guinness. Give me 5 tequilas and a few whiskies after that, and we're going to fight a kebab man.
I'll push this down. It'll pop up a little bit when the kebab man later, but we'll push it down. Yeah. So from a spiritual point of view, it's like we're starting to deal with the change in energy of consciousness. But if you look at it from a biological or biological evolution point of view, it's like we were these creatures that always had to be aware of predators or whatever. So now, as we've evolved, and now we don't have predators all the time, we have to have something to be alert.
But you see, if you think about it, right, and this is the thing about fight or flight. This is not mine. I seen this somewhere else. Your body doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger in front of you and a video on your phone that's just after leaving you in bits. Yeah,
there's a famous Buddhist text about you react the same way to a rope on the ground and a cobra, because you don't know. Like, if you look at the ground and you think it's a
cobra,
then you'll go it's a rope, but you've already panicked. Like, you react the exact same way because your body doesn't know the difference. It just reacts, like you say, subconsciously. So it's just learning to realize that you're holding on to this, and it's difficult because if you're listening to this and you haven't found it in yourself or realize it yet, it won't take for you.
Well, you see, no, do you know what it is? Because a lot of people will listen to this and they'll be in, I'm not going to say survival mode, but they'll be in the mode where they just want to get on with, they just want to get on with things. Because a lot of people don't like to dwell, and a lot of people don't like introspection and going inwards. So, like, for a lot of people, they'll listen to it and they'll just go, the boys are talking shy.
Yeah.
The boys are talking shy. Yeah, and that is okay too, because you'll find everything in your own time. And
when the student's ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not for, like, listen, I have fucking millions of ways in which I've regressed, if anything. I've gone
No,
backwards.
you never regress.
No. I've gone backwards
seems that
in
way. You
many
never
ways.
regress.
In
You
many
never
ways.
regress.
I know over COVID, I stopped drinking there for 16 months and I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. 2 months after I was drinking again after COVID, I was like, Philip. I was like,
yeah, but that's you judging yourself. That's not regression. Regression, you can't actually go backwards. You're always spiraling upwards.
well, you know, at least then you have a little bit of the understanding or the awareness to know exactly where you are in something. Like, listen, what I've found more than anything is that it has made me more patient with people in where they are in their journey, because I know I'm nowhere near where I need to be on mine. Mm-hmm. If there's ever
you need to
be. Where I feel I need to be, or where I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Where I'd like to be. But I know that, again, in meeting people where they are, and I hope people meet me where I am. Mm. Yeah. I hope people can kind of look and go like, okay, that boy's a bit of a fucking idiot, but that's where he is.
Yeah, that's the whole. I think that's how we're going to evolve out of this current kind of melee of online fucking back and forth. Like, when you realise that you only have your perspective, it's all you'll ever have. You cannot see someone else's perspective as well as you can see your own. But what you believe as absolute truth, the person with a different perspective believes the exact same thing. So why focus on the things you don't agree on? And why, like, we always fight about left wing, right wing, immigrants, no immigrants, fucking Man United, Liverpool, fucking men and women, feminism, masculinity, toxic masculinity, fucking bleh. There's a million subjects, but we always when it gets to this online back and forth, it becomes like, how are you different from me? But we never focus on the infinite ways we're all the same.
Well, if you think about it, so if we clip what we just spoke about now, right? Because we do a lot, we clip a lot of us trying to explain that that nobody's wrong.
Mm. Well, it's not even trying to explain. That's my opinion or your opinion.
No, but everybody's right. Yeah. Nobody's wrong
in their own head. Yeah.
Yeah, but when we put a video up about that, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas if we put up a video on either one of them sides,
yeah,
it'll do 1 million views.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, you're not going to sit and watch a video of two people sitting quietly in love with each other. You're going to watch a video of two people throwing fucking hammers and glass. Yeah, that's obvious. That's the thing that people forget. Like, I have a lot of friends who, if you look at their Instagram stories, it's literally just 15 videos in a row about whether it be vaccines or immigrants or the government or the Epstein files. It's like, the more you, like we always say, the more that you interact with this stuff, the more you're going to see. It's not like, and it feels like then the world is all, that's the world now. That's because I've made that my world.
I think a good example of this is, and listen, a couple of weeks ago, you seen the thing in Morocco and they all broke into that part of Spain, Cuenca or whatever it's called. So I was like, 60,000 people have just gone into Spain. Mm. No, they haven't.
Yeah.
This place is
in Africa, isn't it?
It's in Africa. It's in the top right-hand corner of Morocco.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
yeah. And it's all, it's all part of...
It's thousands of miles from Spain.
And we can look at that as... People will look at it both ways. You can fob it off as nothing, or you can make it like an invasion of Europe or whatever. Whatever way extreme you want to choose, you can choose. But it's really just a reaction to colonialism over time and, people who are struggling. And as far as I know, it was peaceful enough. People died, I know, from in the middle of it, but it wasn't. Was there a big? Was there war? I didn't really follow it.
I don't know.
Was there shootings and all? Yeah, but any incident like that, like I say, shark attacks for me now are like, there must be 17 a day because my whole feed is just shark attacks because that's what I interact with. That's what I read the comments on. It's whenever you're seeing a video and it's playing 15 times because you're in the comments. That's the algorithm. That's you calling that to yourself to be, I want more of this. And that's okay. You can I can have all the shark attacks, but then if I'm telling myself that's the world, it's just sharks everywhere, sharks out there mugging people on the street, then I've gone to an extreme. And it's the same with immigrants, anti-vax, pro-vax, fucking whatever shite you want to talk about. If you go to an extreme, you're just going to exclude a whole lot of people, and you won't see that the closer you get to either extreme, you're actually closer to to each other than you are to the middle, which is really what the extremes are, like the edges of love. The most they're the parts that we're trying to bring back into harmony.
And you know, it's different because like people interact with social media differently. Like, I'm not going to say old ones, but like, you know, you're going to be drawn to kind of something different. And on young ones, so Glenn Hansard, he was
got a few. Yeah,
he wrote some great songs.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yeah, well, I know what you're saying. With every,
I didn't say anything.
Well, come here.
I didn't say anything. Whatever you picked up from that, or whatever anybody picked up from that, there was lots said.
Yeah, but you see that there was such an outpouring of love, and I know in a lot of the gigs I played, I learned that song from the Oscars. And
I did Lay Me Down. I was playing Lay Me Down. So the first time, I'm going to say this, the first time I ever saw him live, Witness 2003.
Yeah.
Witness at Punchestown 2003, and he came out and he launched all these little plastic bags, like these little plastic packets out into the crowd, loads of them. And we all opened them up, and in it there was a cloth mask.
Yeah.
That you tied onto your face, and it was just a cloth, but the eyes were cut out and they were drawn on in marker.
All right.
It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And what he did was his band basically went and they bought all these white sheets and they all just drew eyes, nose, and cut the eyes, nose, and mouth, put them all into thing and launched them out into the crowd. So there was like hundreds of us with these white cloth masks on, and I didn't know who the frames were. I was 17, right, or 16 or something, 16, and I didn't know who the frames were or whatever. And the next thing, like, they threw it, and we were all wearing these masks, and I remember looking around and everybody had these cloth masks on, and this band started playing, and I was like, they're fucking deadly.
Yeah.
Like, they changed.
Yeah.
They changed live performance for me. And later on that year, we were in a battle of the bands in Cavan, and all the bands were in their 20s, and they were all good, and they all had like real gear and all, like they all had like proper guitars and all.
Yeah. Pedal board. What the fuck?
Oh, like honest to God. And we had this, like, these two shitty little amps, and we had like a drum kit that the drummer's mother
pots and pans.
had got her for Christmas, and like, you know, and like. But I remember we got up and it was like 4 bands and 3 bands got through. Now, to be fair, one of the older bands was shite.
Right.
Right? They were in their 20s, but they were shite. And I remember got up and I put on my little white mask, the white cloth mask. And I remember we did Zombie, we did something else.
That explains a lot in the lore of Philip Noone, really.
But Glenn Hansard created a monster. But no, we got through. We got through that night. Yeah, we didn't get any further than that, but we got through the first night. We got through.
But it's funny, like, even though you say, you know, it's a big outpouring, and like we say, he was one of those people in the Irish music industry who kind of brought people at all levels together. He did stuff for the Simon community and busking, and anyone I've talked to that's met him, and it's a lot of people. I never met him, but a lot of people I know that met him said he was sound, a lovely fella.
Yeah.
So, and then what comes out after the death is these allegations that he might have been a bit thing. But there are things that are taken from the past and looked at through today's lens. So maybe it wouldn't have been looked at then.
No, but if he had died 15 years ago, would anybody have opened their mouth?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, you don't know. And we don't know. And he can be both. He could be both. Everyone is capable of being the best and the worst human being in the world. But from my limited perspective of it all, he seemed like a good lad who was a good lad in the music industry. And I don't know, whatever happened in his personal life. I know there was stuff that was talking about the girl from that once and all, but I saw her post from her saying she loved him, and she
sang at his funeral.
Yeah, so I mean,
now,
so we can all project what we want onto it, and what that couldn't be right, and that's, people are free to do that. But I'm just saying, choose love if you want.
Choose life.
Choose life.
Choose a job. Choose a career.
Yeah.
Choose a big family.
Choose a dishwasher with full speed. So look at it any way you want, but in the whole, I think it was good to see the outpouring of love. I was supposed to play in a pub down near where it happened. It was an odd place for something like that to happen.
It was.
So I was supposed to play in a pub down there.
It's a windy road, though.
It's windy, but it's a country road, and it's a big, you know, there's a couple of pubs down there in the middle of nowhere with big car parks. You know, you'd be wondering, was there drinking all involved? But apparently he wasn't drinking.
No, so they said he wasn't drinking. No. Said he wasn't drinking. But now, to be fair, we're not going to name any of the pubs that you play in down there.
Yeah.
But those country pubs are known for people jumping in their car and tipping on home after a few.
They're not known for it. It's not the pub's fault. Like,
No. It's not the pub's fault.
They're in places
and we're not saying the Wren's Nest.
Yeah.
We're not saying that. That's where he was. It wasn't, because we're not talking about the Wren's Nest.
Yeah.
But there are pubs even further down into that Strawberry Beds area where people do act the bollocks like.
There's places, and there's other places. I played in a pub at the weekend there that's similar. It's in the middle of nowhere and there's a car park. I have a funny story I want to tell you before I forget, right? So I was booked to do this pub. It's a grand gig. You're kind of pushed in the corner and it's good crack, good crowd there all the time. But I arrived there the other night and there was a wedding going on outside, which was like, and there's a separate room next door to where I would be playing. And I was like, I got there 20 minutes early and I could hear like there was guitar, fiddle and a beat, and it was all so tight. I was like, these must be fucking amazing. I went up, it was one lad. He was looping the guitar and looping the drums and playing the fiddle. I don't know who he was, but he was fucking amazing.
Was it Sean?
It could have been.
No, it was Sean McGee.
It probably was.
Did he even order an accent?
I didn't hear him. I don't.
He's unbelievable. That's Sean.
I was like,
there's only one lad in Ireland.
I've never seen anything like it before in my life.
So Sean's from Enniskillen, and he's fucking. Well, he's from like Derrell in Timor, but he's fucking class.
He went through like, I don't know, like loads of dance classics.
No, that's Sean McGee.
All with the same, and the fiddle going, and like the you know, like the Irish tempo. Like,
no. He's
the drum beat was perfect, and it sounded like it was a robot doing it.
No, he's massive.
Yeah,
he's massive,
and as he should be. I was like,
but I remember,
I was like pulling up the gigs. I was going to go in there and start off night and chilled out and all. The whole place was bouncing with your man there. So of course, when I'm playing inside, you can hear him outside. He finished like about half an hour after I started, then the DJ started pumping in. So everyone's outside in the sunshine, obviously. I got a fair few people in the bar. People there were enjoying it, but so then they started pumping out the tunes, and then as I was finishing, there was another 3-piece of doing trad music out there. So it was one of them gigs where I couldn't barely hear myself, and but I didn't get stressed out. Like I got through it. Like, but
I remember the first time I ever saw him. Right, it was at the Monaghan Blues Festival. And we went into this pub, and the pub didn't even have a stage. He was standing beside a table, and he had his guitar, and he had his mic stand with a little fiddle holder on it, and his fiddle was on the fiddle holder, right? And that was grand. And he had this big long Boss loop pedal or whatever, and he did this thing on the guitar. He did this beat on the guitar, and he was slapping, and he had a stomp box and everything, and he was doing this, and he set up a rhythm and all. And then the pub started getting into it. And then he just picked up the fiddle and he did this like, and the whole pub was like, and next thing he just went, and the whole pub was like, and next thing he just went, do-do-do-do-do-do. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I just turned and I was like, I am Robin 11. I was like, who is, and
that's what it felt like.
That was the first time I ever seen him. Yeah. And he's incredible.
It was unbelievable.
He is incredible. But like, you know what, like a lot of people, but to be fair, like he's up there. So like him, like the High Stool Prophets, the Whistling Donkeys, like all them boys are like at it
was a big, huge wedding, and it was like, and I think it was out. There's a separate room, and then there's an outside area, like a smoking area that's fairly big, and all the music was out in the smoking area. So it was like, it was perfect, and the sound was lovely, and I think so they had 3 acts. It was obviously a big wedding. It probably went all out, I think, and it was one of those things. I turned up and I was expecting, like, last time I did this gig, it's like chilled out, and then everyone gets into it, you get a sing song going at the end, and I was just pulled up and I was like, this lad is going, like, if I didn't have me tempo counter with me, but he must have been 190 beats per minute.
He's
I was like, what the fuck?
He's savage.
And me in there going, on Raglan Road.
This first one's for Glenn. Falling slowly.
Yeah. I did that near the start, and that got a good clap as well. But yeah, a lot of people appreciated Glenn Hansard. It was funny because I had another gig in Swords. This was the day after he passed, and I'd only been learning the song, and it was one of these pub gigs on a Thursday, and it was kind of your background music, most of it. But then I did that song, and like literally got a standing ovation from everyone in the pub. Not for me, obviously, but for Glenn Hansard.
That's lovely.
Yeah, so it just goes to show you, people that don't seem to have much of an impact on your life, it's when they're gone you realise. And like, the Commitment was such a huge film, more than any song he ever did for me. That Commitment's
great film.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And it was funny, I saw at the funeral, they were all together.
Yeah.
I saw Maria Doyle Kennedy and I saw Angeline Ball and Brona Gallagher. They were all sitting together at the funeral, and I was like, "There's the commitments."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's lovely." Like just
and fucking and
fucking and.
Yeah.
But it was like it's
Ride Sally Ride, not Ride Sally Ride.
It's mad though. It brings Damien Rice and Lisa Hannigan. He fired her 5 minutes before a show in Munich in 2007 or 2008, and she said, until hell freezes over, I'll never set foot in the same man as that room ever again.
Yeah.
He wrote the song The Greatest Bastard about himself because he couldn't deal with how he reacted when he found a bit of clarity and everything. And theirs has been one of the most documented kind of big splits in like indie music, I suppose, or whatever. And they swore they'd never even so much as look at each other, step in the same room as that. And the other day they were 4 feet away from each other singing on the same stage at Glenn's funeral. And everybody was looking at it, and I was looking at them too going, I want to see them looking at each other. I want it. Give me something.
Yeah. You have to give it like a little side eye. I didn't know anything about that. Like I say, I was probably in someone's kitchen at that time. Speaking of the past, you were in a
you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. So everybody knows Jim Wynn is peace and love and the universe and spirituality and love. All love. Jim chooses love.
Well, we all are that, but I've just remembered it.
And I was talking to a lad the other day, and we were chatting. He's from the same area as Jim, and we were chatting away, and he was asking me about a few things. And I said, "Do you know Jim Wynn?" And he says to me, "Winner?" He says, "Yeah." He goes, "Geez, he's some goer." I said, "What?" He goes, "Oh, like he'd be hard as nails, like he'd be some fighter." I says, "Jim Wynn?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, back in the day," he says, "he'd be some scrapper, like he'd be hard as nails, like." I was like, "Geez, I'll tell you, you'd want to see him now." I said, "You wouldn't get a fight out of Jim Wynn now if you tried."
Isn't that, it's crazy because that could only have been from a certain like 2 or 3 year period when you win a few fights.
When you were belled.
I was belled for a longer than that, but fighting wise, I was fighting for 2 or 3 years. When I started hanging around with people who were all a bit more head the balls, I had to prove myself. I thought, and I had a lot of fights and won a few. Then you lose a few and you go, okay, maybe there's better ways to do this. Maybe we can talk our way out of this. But it's funny because it goes to show you that people can change so much. There's people who would have met me at that time who would have thought that I was the scum of the earth and didn't deserve any praise. And maybe they meet me now and they'd still think I don't deserve any forgiveness or whatever. But I know that I don't look at it the same way. And it's the same with, we judge people as in the moment as this is what and who they are. They can never change. But really we're always evolving. And I was in the park the other day. I'm not going to mention any names, but I was in the park the other day and I met a girl who I know from back in the day, and she's sleeping rough in the park with her boyfriend, and she's recently found out she's pregnant, and she's someone that I never would have thought it was of an addict or something. I don't know. She never mentioned she was an addict, but I imagine if she's sleeping in the park, it might have something down those lines, and she was always didn't seem like the kind of person that would end up like that. So you never know. And as I said to her at the time, it could happen to any of us. Just a few different decisions or a few ways. But it's all for our own benefit. And as I said to her, you could even having a baby gives you a chance to get into emergency accommodation. Maybe you build from there. Maybe it's all her life, her decisions. And I don't know her story really. It was a 5-minute conversation.
We wish her the best of luck.
Yeah, we wish her the best of luck. And it was just an interesting. It was just a way to see that people who have an impact in your life and you don't know, you haven't seen them for a while. And
Robert Frost, two roads diverged in a wood.
Yeah, who's that? Give me that one.
Robert Frost, the poet. Two roads. I took the road less travelled. 2 roads diverged in a wood. He said, and one of them was well worn, and he said there was one of them that was a bit. It's just about taking. It's just about taking.
Yeah. And we all have our paths to follow, but there's no. In the end, they all lead to the same place. And whether you believe that's heaven or love or whatever, I mean, it's death. We're all going to be dying. Like, so, at the end of the day...
Lovely.
Yeah, well,
I'm joking.
It is lovely. It's just, we don't see it as lovely because we see it as permanent and we need to hang on to this for some reason. But in reality, it's inevitable. One of the only inevitable things is that we're all going to finish this little life. So all roads do lead to the same. No matter what way you look at it, all roads lead to the same place. And it's just, how do you want your road to reflect you, and how do you want to reflect your road?
Well, just like the Premier League, folks, this is the start of season 3 of the Temple Bar podcast.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So we had our little summer hiatus. So now it's back into guests, back into the crack. And thanks for coming back.
We're going to try and get a producer on board.
We're looking for a producer.
Yeah.
Someone here who can add to the mix and mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
And
someone, if you know someone who's doing college, like who's doing media in college, or something along the lines of entertainment, something like that, it could be a good like internship, because of course there's not going to be big money in it for you in the short term, but who knows about the long term.
Unless you bring on a big sponsor.
But I think we need that for ourselves, because me and Philip aren't very organised. So as you say, we'll keep doing the podcast, but how often we don't know. Like this, in the last few weeks or months, my young lad's off school, so I have him till 3 o'clock every day. So it's kind of like it's hard to keep a schedule going. But we'll keep doing them. We'll be like one of those bands that never break up, but we might disappear for a while.
But no, so it'll be guests and back into it from now anyway. For this season,
that's what we're saying now.
For this season of the Temple Bar podcast.
Yeah.
Joe, just on it real quick. So I watched this thing called Sharp Objects. Was very good.
Right.
Check it out if you get a chance. But there's this new thing: Javier Bardem and Amy Adams, Cape Fear.
Is it a remake?
It's a mini series based on. I've never seen the film.
Oh, the film's brilliant.
So it's about. Is it about a fellow who gets out of jail? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So they've remade it. So don't give me any of the twists or anything.
Right.
I've only seen episode 1. They've remade it. Javier Bardem and Amy Adams, the executive producers, Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Also, the Steven Spielberg has this new film out called it's about aliens.
Right.
Something Day, not Independence Day.
Independence Day.
It's what is it people are looking for when the government admit that they have aliens? Revelation Day. Anyway, something. But anyway, so keep an eye on that, because we might be getting some aliens soon.
That'd be nice.
It'd be something. It'd be something we could all get behind. It'd be like if we found out we had aliens and the aliens told us that we were all made of the same love and light.
No, but even finding out we have aliens, at least then we could be like, right, stop killing each other fucking down here. Let's see what's up there.
Yeah. And I think, and then we'll find out that there's actually no such thing as aliens, because it's all just a reflection of the same light. So aliens is just another form it takes. But anyway.
Ship of land, aliens will walk out, one's wearing a Celtic jersey, one's wearing a Rangers jersey.
Yeah. Hugging up. Yeah, hugging up each other. Yeah, so, yeah.
But yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, so if you have any ideas, any guests you'd like to see us have, we're just looking for new guests for this season.
I think, and do you think we should get more people that do the gigs around on? Do you think we should get more people from different types of entertainment? Some people from, spiritual or psychological, or, more guests like Mark Fearton, like people who have a journey.
I'd love to get someone on, a functioning cocaine addict. Yeah. Someone, not like, listen, everybody's life falls apart from cocaine eventually, but a lot of people can function.
This is a conversation I had yesterday. That cocaine is one of those drugs that people can function on for a long time, but crack doesn't seem to allow that. I've never seen a functioning crackhead.
No, crack doesn't allow that.
And I think crack is, like, it's a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time. I'm not in the same circles I used to be when I was that hard little bastard. But a lot of them have gone down that road and ended up. I don't know if crack, but crack's definitely involved.
Oh no, crack is mental. Like,
and crack is no crack, folks.
Crack is whack.
Crack is whack,
as Whitney said.
Yeah,
she was like, I've never smoked crack. Crack is whack. Whitney flat out on the crack pipe.
Yeah, well, that's what to say. I watched Venom on Netflix last night.
Well,
new Venom. I thought it was quite good. I don't really like those.
I wanted to go and see The Odyssey in 4D Max or whatever it's called, where they spray water at you and like rattle all over the place and all. But it's gone out of the Cineworld, so they've got Spider-Man in there at the minute. So I'm hoping they'll bring it back in now when Spider-Man goes.
Yeah, there was some scandal, wasn't there? That someone released like The Odyssey, so millions of people saw it.
Oh, did they?
There was something like that. I mean, who knows? I saw something like that online as I was scrolling. The Odyssey accidentally uploaded to some place and people, like millions of people saw it. But yeah, it's
that'll cost a few pounds.
But the Venom, like the film itself, there was a lot of kind of people who don't see the enemy because they're already, they're what's the word? How do I explain this without going on for an hour? There was a message in it to me that I found that it was like, your mistrust can be what means you lose in the end, because there's a thing I won't go into any spoilers, but there's a person in it who like doesn't trust any aliens, and even though some aliens are trying to help him, and that ends up being part of his downfall, is that he doesn't see who's trying to help him and who's not trying to help him. He trying to tars everyone by the same brush, and that's something that we all do in terms of our own biased opinions and our own perspectives. We tend to tar everybody that doesn't see the world as we do as some ne'er-do-well or someone who shouldn't be trusted. And that's something that is to the detriment of yourself and of us all, I think, at the end of the day. So
be more trustworthy. Not
be more trustworthy. Use your discrimination. Use your own intuition. If there's something you don't like, you don't have to like it, but you don't have to hate it either. You can just let it be and move on to do what you do like. So and realize that if someone does something that you don't like, that's not them. That's a part of them that you don't like. That doesn't mean it's the whole thing. They will have parts you like even Hitler loved dogs, or everyone has a redeeming feature. So whether when you look at Glenn Hansard, who gets all this love, and then there's always a bit of negativity that comes with it, and then you have Hitler, who's got all this negativity, there'll be a bit of love that comes with it, and everyone has it both. Everyone has both within them, and it's just a matter of which side you're choosing to reflect back into society and into your own family the most. And that's a conscious choice that we have. We don't all realise it, but we're all capable of it. And choose love is my advice.
Choose life.
Yeah, choose life. Choose a flat screen TV and real good gear, new bike up.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So that's it for episode 78 of the Temple Bard podcast. Get in touch. Let us know what you thought of this episode and other episodes, who do you want to be as a guest, and what we should talk about in the future. Thanks again for listening.
Stay about.
Sláinte.